What's the range for both of your instruments? I know they both have different stops and such. Maybe we can get into stops separately, but how about just the range for the right hand?
My part the range is for the middle register, which is the one that's the stop I used. Goes from the F below middle C to, I believe that's the A above the treble clef.
It would be like the ones like 5 pleasure lines.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It'd be like F. Would like intermediate stuff would be like F2, so like A5 or so.
That sounds right.
So not the A above treble clef, but the A above the A above treble.
Yeah, so like it would be the A above and kind of A above it.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And that's for both of you, F to A.
Yeah,
Okay.
depending on the stop round, but just in the middle normal register.
Okay, and then can you tell us about the stops?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'll talk about the stops that I have first. So there's that middle stop that talks about.
And would you prefer people to note the switches and the stops for you guys, or would, if, like, let's say someone wrote a piece and they said with a rich, powerful sound, you guys could interpret that in a way, or would you prefer them to say master switch, you know, something like that?
It would probably be better for everyone if someone had a sound like that to maybe say it in some way like that, as opposed to having a lot of specific switch changes, because that can be kind of awkward sometimes.
Okay, so you know, thin sound, you know, out of tune, or if you wanted particularly the musette at some point to note that for, you know, and clearly it's up to the composers, whatever choice they make.
Maybe an analogy to that is maybe think of it as maybe like how you might think of percussionists and mallet changes. You know, like if you're writing for a percussion player, they're probably going to know a little more about what the different mallets sound like. So they're probably going to choose the mallets rather than you as the composer, unless you have a really, really specific sound in mind and you know exactly what it's going to sound like. And I think maybe that's comparable to what this is if you have a very specific sound in mind that involves one of these stops, I would say go for it. But yeah, like Daniel said, to be switching back and forth when you just really want one variety of sound, I think is counterproductive. So the symbols for the stops, this is the starting place for all the symbols, and this is just one reed in the central octave. So that's the symbol for that reed, and I think that's normally called the clarinet register. And so it has this sort of mellow sound to it. And then there's this one that's the octave below. And that's the bassoon. And so you can get down pretty low with that one.
So the register of that is the same as when we were talking about the ranges before, that's a clarinet, and the bassoon is exactly the same, it's just an octave down.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
And then you can have those two together. Do you know the name of that one?
You know, I don't have that stop on mine actually.
Oh, you don't? Okay. So you can hear it has this fuller sound to it. And I'm blanking on the name.
That's fine.
Of that one. And then the other exciting part is that there are actual multiple reeds in the middle octave on my accordion, and on most accordions. So and one of so the other type tune slightly sharp or slightly flat. So this is middle reed with slightly sharp. So it has a more cutting sound because of the beating between the in tune and slightly sharp. And then you can also double that with the lower octave for an even fuller sound. And then my accordion is what's known as a musette accordion. And what that means is most accordions either have one or two middle reeds. And mine actually has three. So one is slightly sharp, one is slightly flat, and one is in tune. So that gets in the middle.
Can I jump in real quick? Sorry. We're the neighbors.
Yeah.
Friends of Mark and co-conspirators.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Hey, it's fine.
Hey, good to see you. We have a private rental.
So this is the musette sound, and you can. It has a sound that's sort of typical of French.
And that's with the sharp and the flat.
That's with the sharp and the flat, and that's known as musettes.
And on mine, the previous two, the one that has two is called violin on mine. The other one's just called the accordion switch.
Yeah. So then, let's see. And then there's the what on my accordion is the master switch, which has all of the available reeds. So all three of the musette reeds and the lower octave reed for the fullest sound. So that's the fullest sound, and I can either push that button here, or I have a wrist button so that if I'm playing, if I'm in the middle of something, I can quickly switch to that master reed. It's a fairly common feature, I think. Daniel has that as well. So if I'm, for instance, playing something like that, so I can quickly switch back to the master reed. So that's the master reed.
Is it harder to switch from the master reed to another reed?
A little bit, yeah, because I can't do it with this. I have to, so it's a little harder, but it's not,
It's a more specific motion to go up to these things. Like here, you have this bar that you hit. This button is the size of almost the whole keyboard.
Yeah.
So you can be playing down here and just go wham on your master switch. Whereas up here, if I want to switch to my bassoon reed, I have to go over here, hit bassoon, and go back to where I was playing. Whereas in here, you can pretty much hit your master switch.
Okay. But you guys could feasibly sustain a tone in the center of the keyboard and then be hitting reed switches.
That's neat.